I wanted to mention Identity House because I was into psychology. I was getting my master's in psychology, and Identity House came together to be a walk-in center, free walk-in center for gays and their families to come and talk about their issues, their problems, their fears, their anxiety, and cry, and there was hard times, and they didn't know where to go, and they couldn't trust the therapist. So this group called Identity House, we got together, half activists and half professional therapists, to form this Identity House. Well, that wasn't easy because the therapists were not comfortable with us counseling people. They said, you're not professionals, you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. But they said you have to have training and come once a week to counseling with us and pay for it, of course. And we did that. And then the activists were saying, what do you know? You're not gay, and half of you or more are Freudians, and you want to change us, and we don't want to be changed. So we have worries about you guys too. So we chose carefully the ones that were on the steering committee, and that were positive and weren't going to try to change us, as we knew a lot of people were going through this kind of, this kind of therapy to change. And that became a little bit difficult. And the head of our organization was a therapist, Charles Silverstein. Everybody knows him, a professional. And he said at one of the big group meetings that we're going to close the walk-in center. And we said, you can't do that. That is the lifeblood of this organization, and we're all committed to it. Every night of the week we go there and help people. And he said it's going to be a professional organization. And he had added people to the steering committee who were professionals. So we knew when it came up at the next meeting of the steering committee that he could in fact close it. So Sydney and I went to Albany. I know we're crazy, but we did a lot of crazy things. And we talked to, I probably was a law student, and we said, what can we do to save this organization, to save the walk-in center? We know it's going to happen, at this next meeting in the next week. And the guy said, well, are they registered? I said, I don't know. He said, let's look it up. So I looked up, he said, no, it's not. He said, you could be Identity House. That was my name anyway. So I thought, okay. We got 4 officers together very quietly and registered as Identity House and went to the steering committee meeting. Of course, it was at a therapist's house. And they had all these votes that they were taking on different things. And then it came up to vote to close it, Identity House walk-in center. And I was like nervous, but I knew I had this big secret, living. So he said, they took the vote and they voted to close it. I said, wait a second, you didn't close it. You're not Identity House. We are. So anyway, and I was thrown out. Sydney and I were thrown out of this house. And then I was threatened with a lawsuit, but the lawyer they had agreed with us, so it didn't go anywhere. And Identity House still exists today, 47 years later, so I'm really glad. I got pretty obsessed with being an out, proud lesbian. I mean, I would kiss with my lover in Times Square. We'd dance at bars or together and try to freak everybody out. It was fun, actually. And I think the bravest thing I did was in 1974 at an American Psychological Conference in Chicago. I was on a panel, and I'd been a student now of getting my master's degree. I was going to be a counselor or something. And I had read about adults and children and the independence of adults and the dependence of children, this, that, and other things, and I thought, this relates to lesbians and heterosexuals. I said, heterosexuals are more dependent than this, that. So my paper was lesbians as role models for healthy adult women. That was pretty far out. So, anyway, some people may think I'm crazy. My mother sort of did, but she supported me. So it was fun. So anyway, thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for coming.